Well, this is the 108th video on this channel. And as you're probably aware, then 108 is a very auspicious number in both the Buddha Dharma and the Hindu tradition. In fact, it's one mala. One mala has 108 little beads on it. So we've done one mala of videos. And of course, then all the beads in the mala are not the same. Some of them are more round, some of them are shinier, but in general, then they're roughly the same. And also we've reached 1,000 subscribers on the channel. You could say 1,000 subscribers, or you could say 1,000 contributors to the conversation, or 1,000 members in our little community. And I know that's not a lot in terms of YouTube. It's quite a small amount. But to be quite honest, that's a lot more than I thought would be willing to listen to me give them a hard time. And of course, when it comes to members of a community, and some are more proactive than others, some are more passive, and of course there's also some that are just voyeurs. And something that happens quite a lot on YouTube, I think, is that people click on subscribe as a kind of affirmation or as a show of support, but then they no longer watch your videos. So there's also those as well. So now that we've come to this point of 108 videos and 1,000 members of the community, then I think it's a good time to reflect, to have a system check, to stand back and try to see where we are. And to decide for oneself whether this venture has been something positive and beneficial to your understanding and your practice. Now, there will be those who feel that this has been a beneficial engagement, and also those who have sort of reached the limits of how much benefit they can derive from what I have to say. And then there'll be those who haven't been benefited at all. But it's for you to decide what benefit you have derived from this interaction. And my suggestion is, if it's no longer beneficial, and you don't see any prospects for any further progress, or if nothing I've said has resonated with you, then you should vote with your feet. You should unsubscribe. Spend less time on YouTube watching videos and spend more time in meditation and with your practice. But if you do see potential from this interaction, then you're welcome to stay along for the ride and see where it leads us. From my perspective, then the conversation has been very beneficial. It's been beneficial to me personally. And I think I've benefited the most from those who have made negative comments or who have challenged my position. And that's because by being faced with challenges, then I have to become more clear on my own understanding. And so that's incredibly beneficial. And I thank you for that. And also I've gained some kind of hope and encouragement, because I've met people online for whom I see there is potential for progress on the spiritual path. Hello. Hello.
I hope we're not disturbing.
Not at all. This dog would never disturb me. Look at you. Hello.
What a lovely spot to sit and pray.
Yeah. I'm doing a video diary. It's giving advice to people, spiritual advice to people online.
It's lovely.
So I thought I'd sit somewhere outside where it's nice.
Certainly needs people like you.
I don't know about that.
Yes,
We're going to try our best.
To advise us. Well, anyway, thank you.
Yeah, have a good day. So discourse and discussion are beneficial. These things are definitely beneficial. And they're also beneficial if we don't see eye to eye, if we have disagreements. You know, somebody who is a spiritual practitioner should be stable enough, should have enough certainty in their own position that they're not upset by the opinions of others. In fact, that's a real sign of your spiritual practice. The better your spiritual practice is going, then the more open-minded you'll become. And you'll be able to accommodate different perspectives. You'll be able to see things from the eyes of others, but also you become very firm in your own resolve. I mean, it has to be said that once you see the truth, then you see that which is contradictory to that truth to be false, right? Well, of course, there's always doubts that arise. I mean, we're all full of doubt. Well, that's part of the reason why we're engaging in this venture. I mean, that must be part of the reason why you're looking on YouTube, right? And what are you searching for? Well, you're searching for spirituality, non-duality, meditation, those sort of things. And so, you know, it's a sign that you're looking for answers, that you have not yet been satisfied by what you've heard. And so if this is a platform through which you may gain some greater certainty about your own position, then for me, that's a wonderful thing. And I'm very happy to proceed. I mean, it's also for me to decide whether I think that this activity is still going to be productive, or even whether I have the energy levels to sustain this interaction. I mean, I want to do my best. Whether I can achieve anything, even though I feel like I have some positive motivation, is not certain. I see that there is some potential in it. And that has been reinforced by some of the people that I've met. Say, some of the spiritual friends that I've encountered through this strange platform in the 21st century. I mean, for the younger ones, then they've never known anything but the internet. But I was born really before all of this kicked off, you know. When I was young, then the modem was something that you placed a telephone on. The telephone actually had to talk into a microphone and listen to a speaker. And that was a long time ago. And, you know, it didn't have images and sound files, let alone video channels. But, you know, I have to use the technology that is at hand and try to use it in a beneficial way. And these things are more often than not used in a very negative way. You just have to look at the sort of people who get millions and millions of hits on YouTube and on Twitter and that sort of thing. Usually what inspires people to press the like button is their extreme polarization, the extreme polarization of their views. And so if somebody lashes out at something they dislike, they get lots and lots of hits, right? People show great interest in that. We're driven by gossip and controversy. But in our small community, I hope it's not like that. And I hope that people aren't kind of motivated to attack others. We should discuss these things. I mean, I'm definitely going to point out contradictions I see in philosophical statements. Maybe that's habit. I mean, you know, spending years in a monastery where we debate every day, that's what we do. And the reason why we do it is to make our understanding more profound. To understand a particular point to greater depth, then you have to look at it from both angles, right? And so by interacting in this way, we can see each other's positions. And this is so important. It's something that's really missing in our modern times, especially now when there's such intense polarization in society. It's like no one can see eye to eye. No one can stand in anyone else's shoes. It's us or them. And so at this time, for us all to be talking about non-duality sounds a bit crazy, really. Never mind non-duality. What we're faced with in this day and age is hyper-duality, absolute polarization. People can't listen to each other's opinions. It's like there's no way to find common ground. And that's very sad. So if we can be open to each other's opinions and also offer our advice, present our own positions with confidence, but also not fearing that we are going to draw negative attention, if we can inquire of others about the basis, the logical basis of reasoning for their position, and also look into the validity of our experience, then I think by this, then together we can progress. We can sort of help each other. I mean, there's this wonderful kind of tradition in India, and it's got something to do with Krishna. I think when Krishna was a baby, and Krishna climbed up to get a pot of yogurt or milk or something like that. So they have this kind of festival every year where people make these human pyramids, and somebody climbs up to the top to try and tip over the pot of yogurt or milk off the top of this that's suspended from the sky. It's really lovely kind of festival, and everybody gets really excited. But the thing there is without pulling together, without forming this human pyramid, then there's no way to reach the heights, right? And so it's very difficult to go it alone. I mean, it's true that you do have to eventually go it alone, because why is that? Well, you leave this world when you die. It's solo, man. You can't even take one stitch of clothing with you. Your wealth, your money, your possessions, your status, your name, nothing comes with you. We enter into the bardo. We're blown like a feather in the wind, with no control over our minds. We're carried by whichever of our negative emotions is most strong, and this perpetuates our future existence. And then experiencing rebirth, we think, why am I suffering? You know, who is the architect of my downfall? And never recognizing that we are the architects of our own happiness and sorrow. But it's not hopeless. That means what I do here and now affects how I will experience the 6 realms of samsara, and also dictates whether or not I will travel the path to liberation. So for a short time, then we're traveling together. We're companions. We can support each other. We can form a human pyramid. But you know, eventually, my hope is that you will leave this community. It's not because I want to see you go. It's because I want to see you gain recognition. What does that mean? Come to understand meditation. Once you understand meditation, you no longer have any doubts. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do to progress. And that will mean that you've outgrown our little community. By that time, hopefully you'll have developed enough strength of mind and fitness of body, and then proceed in solitude. Now, as Westerners, we often think that once we understand the view, then our work is done. For many of us, it's merely once we've heard the view, we think our work is done. Somebody tells us everything is luminous clarity, we think, okay, that's it, fine. My work is done. It's not like that. In fact, recognizing the view is not the end of the journey. It's merely the beginning of the journey. I'm not someone with great realization and stable practice, but still, I do think I have something to offer. And so I'm going to do my best to try to help those whom I have the ability to help. I've had the good karma to have met an authentic teacher in this life, and to have encountered the true Dharma. And based on that, then personally, I know what I need to do. And so if I think that this activity of releasing videos on YouTube is no longer of benefit, maybe it never has been of benefit, then I know what I need to do. I need to return to solitude and spend the rest of my life in meditation. It's not that I don't know how to meditate. I feel I do. Maybe I'm just kidding myself on. But I have firm conviction that I know how to meditate. So if I have already understood meditation, if I have recognized the essential nature of mind, then why do I need to go off into solitude and spend the rest of my life meditating? Well, here's the point that most of us miss. The most difficult thing is not understanding the view or recognizing the true nature of mind. The most difficult thing to do is to remedy our negative emotional content, our kleshas. These negative emotional tendencies hold sway over our lives. And even if you recognize the essential point of mind, you still have to undo countless lifetimes of habituation to negativity. And I'm not just talking about coarse negativity, like being a really angry person or being very desirous. For these kind of coarse negativities, we have a foothold. We have some way to approach it. They're kind of easier to identify, and there are numerous remedies. But more difficult than that are what are called the cognitive obscurations. And these are our tendencies to cling to existence and non-existence, to permanence and nihilism. And ultimately, this is what stops us from achieving omniscience and final awakening. First, we have to start off with creating good habitual tendencies and reducing our negative habitual tendencies. And then also, and this is really important in the West, is we have to stop wasting our time. We have to stop wasting our time on these neutral things that don't bring any positive or negative results, because the more time we spend on these, then the more our life is whittled away. And eventually, at the time of death, then we will not be prepared for the next life. And why is this such a difficult point in the West? Well, it's because we have so much luxury and distraction. So as I said at the beginning of this video, then if you feel you have benefited from this interaction, but no longer think that engaging with this community will be productive, if you have never gained any benefit, and likewise, if what I have to say does not resonate with you, or if you do not find any benefit from the interaction that can be gained in this community, then unsubscribe. Spend less time watching videos on YouTube. If, however, you find it convenient and you still feel like you could benefit from having some companions on the path, then you're welcome to stay. And as long as I feel that this is something beneficial and not detrimental, then I'll do my best to continue posting videos, maybe another Mala videos, another 108, maybe another 1,008, who knows. Eventually, when the retreat center is up and running, my parents have passed from this life, then it's my intention to keep you posted. I mean, at the very least, it's kind of an interesting story, right? It's some entertainment, and maybe not as negative as some of the forms of distraction that we can engage in the modern world. So, happy 108th video. Welcome to subscriber number 1000. If you decide to continue on, then I'll see you in a future video. And if not, then I wish you luck on your journey. So, thank you for listening, and see you next time.